Hi, welcome back to 4 Teachers. I always love a new unit. I think it's something that's fresh. If I could start a new unit every week, I would.
You do?
I do, I try to. So today we're going to split our video into 2 different sections. Items that you can bring in and things to get your kids exploring. Things that should be really simple and easy to achieve.
The second part is going to be all about large-scale projects. So something that might require a bit more planning. Maybe you need to check with your school if you're allowed to do it. You could bring in a mystery box. Maybe just have it padlocked on the side of the table. That's something that you're going to be able to crack the code for. When they finally open it up, it could have an artifact that has a link to do with your history unit or something in there that's going to give them clues. Children love anything you hide away, they think is more exciting. Word problems for multiplication. If you hide those word problems in little boxes and hide them around the room and they have to travel around with a talk partner and find them and answer them, you can guarantee those children will be so much more excited to go and do that work.
Yeah, and on the flip side, it doesn't have to be physical. You could do like a digital QR code where children have to go around and find things with a QR code.
Okay, so we're just going to list some like really exciting ways quickly. You could bring in a treasure map that leads somewhere in your classroom.
An animal. You can bring an animal. It's obvious.
Like what?
Like a little animal. I remember I used to have my ant farm that was a big hit.
Yeah, oh, the ant farm.
The UK actually is worth having a search for. You can get farm animals, eggs and incubators, and they can see them hatch, and that was amazing. I used to do that every year with my class. I think postcards are great. Anything you see on your travels or on holiday, send your kids a postcard so that anything that stands out, particularly for a different nation or a culture or a tradition, they're really great. You can really bring that into your classroom.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to talk about is the larger scale hooks. So things that you might want to introduce to your class, but it might require a bit more planning.
Be a visitor, someone dressed as a character. It might be an experience where you actually leave the classroom and go outside. Whatever you can do to really create a hook and a wow is going to have a big impact.
The children walked in one day, the classroom had been completely trashed, all the chairs were strapped up and taken away, and there was a crime scene, and the children were constantly gathering evidence. They had nowhere to sit, so a lot of the work we did, we were like lay on the floor or we were using iPads.
Use Google X-ray specs. You can change any website, so we created fake news reports and documents, and we had a video from a police officer, kept commenting on the crime and kept sending daily developments. So this wow day actually extended for a whole few weeks. It was amazing.
When you go for an interview in the future and they say, well, describe a wow lesson, you can say, I did this amazing circus project where the children came in one day and all the items to do with the circus were there. We had to use PE and think about movement for the animals of the circus, discuss the morals, whether it should be allowed to happen or not. If you are fortunate enough to work with some really, really great colleagues, ask them to come in, ask them to dress up and become that angry park keeper or that famous person from history.
I think the more that you go for it, the more that they buy into it as well. It's really great.
In the past, I remember walking into his classroom one day and he had his huge time machine.
It's a TARDIS.
Oh, is that what it was? I mean, he'd convinced the kids it was the TARDIS. Every child was so invested in this that it's like a huge display in the centre of his classroom. You couldn't miss it when you walked in.
I just reminiscing. I remember we went to all these different time zones and we went to the plague time.
Did they get the plague?
They all got the plague and it was just very dark. It went very dark.
So we made this big igloo in class. It was a tent that I covered in just cotton wool and it looked terrible, but they loved it so much. And then when it started to break, it was at a slant and it was slowly like disintegrating. I just told the children it was global warming. And it became this whole hook about why is our igloo melting, and the children would come in the morning and they'd be worried about it and they asked me to fix it, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, it's global warming. What could we do to fix the igloo?
I think as well, I think technology can be a great hook. Last few weeks we've been using virtual reality in our classrooms. It's amazing to check a different environment. We went to rainforest, went to 360-degree tour of erupting volcano. Then we had a fly through and there was lava being blown out and it was a live footage. It was just absolutely insane. Let us know what works for you. Let us know something that's gone really, really well, or let us know some of the terrible things that you'll never try again. Please do subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.
Right here.
We are 4 Teachers.
Thank you for watching.